I'm seeing myself for the first time. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
Actor Viola Davis was born in rural South Carolina, where her roots stretch back over a century. And hidden within those roots is an extraordinary story. Viola's great-great-grandfather, Emanuel Howell, was born into slavery in South Carolina sometime around 1840. During the Civil War, Emanuel's owner, a man named John Pauling, compelled him to accompany his son into the army, meaning that Emanuel was forced to serve the Confederacy.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
So you're a black man, you're a slave, and then they force you to go off to the Confederacy to protect the son who's fighting to keep you enslaved.
Exactly.
This, by the way, was not uncommon. Many Southern soldiers brought their enslaved men with them into the army. They didn't fight, they weren't given guns. Instead, they were used as teamsters, cooks, blacksmiths, and so on.
Wow.
How do you think he felt? It's the middle of the war. It must have been terrifying. He had to be rooting for the Union to be beating the Confederates, right? Because that was the only way he was going to be free.
Absolutely.
But he had to put his life on the line, taking care of his ostensible owner.
Absolutely.
That's a bad position to be forced to be in.
Yeah, it's a horrible position. It's, you know, it speaks to the invisibility of our humanity and our lack of choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for our survival so long, I think that with African Americans, we've sucked down some major trauma in order to muster on.
We have no idea how Emanuel survived his time with the Confederate Army, and we can only guess how he felt about it. But as we turn to the records of the Pauling family, we saw what they thought of him. In 1863, John Pauling wrote out his will, describing how Emanuel and his other human property were to be divided up among his heirs.
It's like, you know, it's like mentioning your, I don't know, your dining room table.
Yes.
In your last will and testament.
That's right. My antique chandelier, my piano, Emmanuel.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
My horse,
exactly.
Trigger.
Exactly.
It's cold.
Exactly.
The whole system was designed to demean us, to rob us of our humanity.
Absolutely.
And it had an effect that we see being played out in our people over and over again.
Time and time again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul. It really does.
After the Civil War, Emanuel signed a sharecropping contract with the man who had enslaved him and went to work in fields that he'd likely been working since he was a child. His wife, his children, and his grandchildren also worked those same fields. Their lives were sobering to contemplate. Yet Viola chose to find a note of hope in the simple fact that they survived.
I feel like my whole life is a big kiss to them.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I just want to bow down to every nick and scrape and trauma and whip and chain and say, just, you have no idea how much I love you for taking the pain for me.
Discovering the stories of our ancestors can be a profoundly transformative experience, changing the way we see ourselves, our families, and our shared history. To see more incredible stories, click below. And thank you for watching.